Everybody has broken God's law. So all of us are law breakers. But God loves us, God loves us so much that he sent his son Jesus, who died on the cross.
Couldn't do it himself.
We're holding this. It's only a symbol of what Jesus did for us. This symbolizes God's love for us and also the justice of God. Because God punished Jesus for the sin of the world.
Crazy.
For the sin of the world.
Okay, can I ask you, do you think, are you confused about anything else?
I didn't hear what you said.
Do you think that God is superior to anything else? Any other religion or anything else?
God is superior to everything.
But in Christianity, I'm talking about.
God has revealed himself through Jesus. And the message of Jesus is that God loves everybody. That is superior. That comes from God. There are many religions in the world, and they're false. They're man-made.
Exactly.
They're man-made religions. They're false.
Then why do you go with Christianity?
Because Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That Jesus is the truth. It's not that he came to give us Christianity per se. Jesus came to give himself for us.
How do you know that though?
We need to look. Well, one way we look at it is that in the Old Testament. The Old Testament came before Jesus. Are you aware of that?
Of course, I read on the first.
I'm just letting you know, and just in case you don't know aware.
That's okay.
There are approximately 300 prophecies in the Old Testament about the coming Messiah.
Yeah.
Jesus fulfilled all of them, apart from the ones that pertain to his second coming. The Old Testament tells us that God himself will give you a sign. The virgin will give birth to a child, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. That's written in the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah is written about the book of Isaiah is written about around 600-700 years before Jesus came. That's just one prophecy. The virgin's going to give birth to a child. The child's going to be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God. That's Jesus. In the Old Testament, it tells you that the Messiah, the ruler of the nations, is going to come out of Bethlehem. That's in the Old Testament before, about 400 years before Jesus came. We need to investigate this for ourselves. We need to do that for ourselves. What is the truth? Before I became a believer in Jesus, I asked the big questions. Is there life after death? Is there a God? Do I have a soul? We need to ask these questions.
Can I ask you now?
Go on.
I don't know how to formulate the question. Don't you think we look too hard for the truth, that we don't see the bigger picture? Don't you think the book, the Testament, all of it has been rewritten so many times? We don't know who wrote the book. We don't know if Jesus was actually there. In terms of truth, we don't know the truth. Do you think we know the truth?
But you're making a statement there. You're saying that it's been rewritten many times.
It has been translated, rewritten, everything.
Translation is just translation into different languages.
But do you understand the first language that was written in? No. So it's been translated.
No, what we have copies of the manuscripts. So that's what we have. And even if you go to like various museums around the world, like the British Museum, for example, I don't know I know there's one museum, I think in Manchester, copies of the original manuscripts.
But see, museum.
Hold on. Even if no, it's not recording you. Okay, all right.
I like to be private when I
Okay, no problem. Well, no, but I'm not recording you, but don't look to your right because there is a camera that way,
Okay.
and that is recording. Okay, so you don't need to. Okay.
It's a good debate. I don't mind.
Okay. But we need to look at the evidence for the truth. If you look, when a crime is committed and somebody is arrested, the investigators look at the evidence. It goes before a court. A jury looks at the evidence to see whether this person is guilty or not. We need to do the same with the Bible, for example. We need to look at the evidence. So even if there's a book called Evidence Demands a Verdict by a lawyer and a guy called Lee Strobel. He was a lawyer. He didn't believe in Christianity at all. He actually set out to try and disprove the Bible. When he looked at the evidence of the Bible, he came to the conclusion, number one, that it was true, and number two, that he had to make a decision to follow Jesus. This is a lawyer. We need to do this ourselves. We need to look at the Bible. So when you're saying, oh, it's been changed, I'm saying, well, show me the evidence. What's been changed? You can't show me the evidence that's been changed. One thing that Jesus said is that heaven and earth will pass away. My words will never pass away. What Jesus said 2,000 years ago, approximately, are the same words that we have today. Yes, I could create a kind of Bible. I could create a false Bible, but the true Bible would still be there. The true message of Jesus, nobody can change that. What Jesus did, we need to look at the evidence of the gospel. When it comes to like Jesus being the resurrection of Jesus, you need to ask ourselves, okay, so the followers of Jesus, most of the disciples were martyred. Would they be martyred? Would they decide to be killed for a lie? And then after the resurrection, there are witnesses. We need to know why are there so many witnesses after the resurrection? And then how come we have the legacy of Jesus 2,000 years later? He's the most influential human being in history. No one comes close to Jesus. We need to ask ourselves why. Who is Jesus?
Can I ask you, what are you trying to do with the speech today? What is your goal?
My goal here is just to share the good news about Jesus, that God is love, and that Jesus is the way to heaven. We're separated from it. Heaven is where God is.
Do you think it's peace?
It's more than peace.
So, to find peace, don't you think we have to look within ourselves and stop looking for knowledge, stop looking for evidence? There's so much hatred in the world right now. There's so much, everything around you, from your shoes, your hat, it's all capitalism. It's all, people work for it, people suffer for it, we all suffer. We all have anxiety, depression, we all go through these things. So, once we separate the knowledge from us, which is the build-up of thousands of years, the build-up of everything that happened, once we kind of see what it is as it is in the moment, love is different. Does that make sense? I appreciate all of this. You do this for love. Love is everything. But I feel like we are looking in the wrong direction.
But you're saying that we need to find it within ourselves.
Yes, that's the only way. Because consciousness is for all of us. We build this society. We live in the same consciousness.
Well,
So once we realize we're all in this, we're all playing a part of a big thing. We're all the same. Once we realize that, equality will be, but equality not in terms of actual equality, in terms of we all deserve love, we all deserve compassion, we all deserve to be treated with respect, to help each other. Because we don't help each other right now. There's India, there's China. It's India and China, not India or China, you know what I mean? So the war, everything is just, even religion, I know it's controversial to say, I appreciate religion, I know there's so many lessons to learn from religion, but it divides us even more. It divides us from Muslims, Christians, and there's a war, there's conflict. There has to be more the conflict in order to see how beautiful everything can be.
Sorry. So religion. No, so you know, some of what you say I agree with to a certain extent, and some I disagree with. You know, in a sense that, yeah, we are divided, but the reason why we're divided is because we go our own way. All of us, when it comes down to it, we want what's good for ourselves. That's what we want. And sometimes that's in harmony with those around us, and sometimes it's not in harmony, and sometimes it's to the detriment of those around us. And all of us are like that. We have that, it's innate in us. Yeah. But we can't change that, but we can modify our behavior, and we can change. But we can do that, but that's only a temporary solution.
It's a long development, that's the thing. It can't happen like this. So I agree with you. I agree.
But the message of Jesus is about eternity and also this life. That's the message of Jesus. The question is, if I were to die, if you were to die tonight, you're more than just flesh and blood. You are a person inside of this body, the real you. And the question is, if you were to die tonight, do you know what happens after death? Okay, well, Jesus knows. Because Jesus, he's the only one who made an appointment beyond the grave and kept it. He died and he rose again. Let me put it another way. The New Testament tells us he defeated death. What's the death rate? The death rate is 1 in 1. We're all going to die. The reason why we die is because we have a fallen nature, and that's the curse of what the Bible calls sin. But God loves us so much, and Jesus has defeated death. The New Testament tells us that he has the keys of death and hell. He has the keys of death and hell.
Can I ask you, how do you see Jesus now that he's dead? How do you see him?
He's not dead, he's alive. He rose again on the third day. He rose again on the third day.
Is that magic?
No, it's not magic. It's the power of God. When Jesus was here, he raised the dead. He called people out of their graves. Why? Because he had the power to do that.
Okay.
He healed.
How do you have the power?
Because he has the power because he came from heaven.
So do you think the universe is billions and billions of years old?
Hold on. Jesus didn't have the same nature that you and I have, in the sense of a sinful nature. We have a nature that rebels against our Creator. Jesus didn't have that. He came to redeem us to the Creator.
And the Creator, which is God, right?
God the Father, yes.
Is there a reason for him to put us here? Is there a reason for him to build all of this? Why is he building it if all you see is suffering? For what?
I understand. There is suffering, but there is a force of evil in the world, as well as our fallen nature. Or
there's no evil or good in the world.
Sorry?
There's no bad or good in the world.
There is evil. The force of evil.
There's division.
But this is your perspective. I'm saying what Jesus said, and I'm sharing you my own experience. I've had spiritual experiences, so I've experienced evil spirits.
I'm curious. I'm sorry.
No problem. I've heard the audible voice of an evil spirit laughing. Oh, here we go. Here we go again.
Come.
Again. There we go. Again. Again. Hold on.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Yeah, no problem. I'm just saying how. That's just my personal. I'm not saying you should believe that because that's my experience.
And that's
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that. You've asked me about my experience, and it's my experience which is in accordance with the New Testament of there being the force of evil in the world.
Yeah, and you felt the evil.
I heard it, and not only did I hear it, but also my friend heard it, who was with me as well. So this is one experience, just one experience. But you've also got the whole thing about when you read. Have you read any of the Gospels? Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John? Have you read it? Can I recommend that you read one of them? Maybe the Gospel of John is a good one to start with. Yeah, read the Gospel of John. I mean, a good website is called BibleGateway.com, and read the Gospel of John if you want to read. So
Are you here every Sunday?
most Sundays, but not every
I
Sunday.
might come back next Sunday. So
I won't be here.
read and then I just come back with a report.
Okay, we'll make it 2 weeks then.
2 weeks.
I'm on holiday next week.
Oh, that's
So,
okay.
Thank you. But have a read the Gospel of John. It's about the life of Jesus. Before I became a believer, I just thought I believed in Jesus theoretically. That he
But
was.
you didn't feel it. And
I
then you
didn't.
felt it.
Well, I didn't feel. It's not. But I don't go by feelings as such. I wasn't living my life. I believed it theoretically. But I asked the big questions. Is there life after death? Is there a God? Do I have a soul?
Do you think there is?
I know there is.
So how do you think afterlife works? Because don't you need your brain in order to function, to think, to feel, to eat, to do anything?
Physically, yes.
Once that brain is switched off, there's nothing.
That's physically.
Physically.
But I'm also
Energy.
a spirit. And so when my body dies, my spirit, my soul will still be alive. Exactly. And so after my body dies, after their body dies, a person either goes to be with God or they're separated from God. Now this is the teaching of Jesus. He loves us, and God doesn't want anyone to be separated from him eternally. He doesn't want anyone to go to hell.
So do you think he's putting us through misery now to get ready for the afterlife?
Do I think?
Do you think right now he's testing the misery that we live in order for him to decide afterlife?
It's not so much testing, it's more giving people more time to come to know him. To acknowledge, because we all have free will.
Yeah.
I can choose God or I can reject God. I'm just like, I'm getting ready for a sneeze. So I can choose God, and everyone. God didn't make us to be robots. God is love, and He wants relationship with us. Relationship with humankind was separated. This is in the story of the Old Testament about Adam and Eve. So I'm going to run. When I run over there, you'll know I'm going to sneeze. So anyway, but Jesus came to rebuild that relationship. Excuse me. That's why Jesus came, to rebuild that relationship.
Bless you, by the way.
Okay, thank you. So just...
It was very nice talking to you. I'll come back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks' time.
I'm just looking for my friends and we're going to go.
Okay, great speaking with you. No, great meeting you.
It was nice to meet you.
The Gospel of John.
Gospel of John.
What's the website?
Bible.
Gateway.
Gateway. Like the header.
Like a gateway, yes. Yeah. Nice meeting you. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.